Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a beautiful, bright, and sunny day over here in Helsinki, Finland. And as always, want to be wishing you the best as I have a nice big smile on my face over here on this beautiful morning. And we have plenty to talk about. That is exactly why. Of course, let's now get right and deep and down and dirty into it. Have some little teleportations in your life. And there it is, back into the live scene. Oh my God, so exciting. Of course, Bitcoin, just to temper it down a little bit, Bitcoin having a little bit of a sell-off after we got off the live stream yesterday night. Unfortunately, we weren't able to watch this one together, as it would have been actually quite fun. A lot of things to talk about. But with this advent, we actually do have a little bit of a change in the ultimate picture. So with that said, I'll start off here with the daily. Of course, we have given way to the red 10 moving average. Not only that, we did actually print a bearish engulfing dildo yesterday on top of that, and that typically does beget some continuations as well. Looking at our oscillators, we do have daily Stokes still headed down. Of course, the big trigger for that was 2 days ago when we actually gave out the critical zone right over here and crossing down. Those are my two keys for that. And of course, we also do have some bearish divergence on the daily as well. So really, even just looking at a very basic picture like this, it takes time to play out, but it typically does play out. And I would still be looking for our initial support somewhere down around this yellow 21 exponential, which is around 4,800, give or take a few bucks. Of course, we do see this wick being bought up yesterday at about 49.50ish area, but overall, the game is again long term. And this really brings me over to what I want to talk about during this stream, and that is the bigger picture at hand. But to understand the bigger picture, we have to first go through the smaller picture, the lower picture, the not bigger picture. Let's just go to a lower fucking time frame. How about that? Right over here, the 3 hour dildo time frame has been getting things quite well. This is the chart that I was looking at when we were looking at it the other day, and plotting out the different, the different things that people are going to be looking at from a very low time frame perspective. The bulls are going to be looking at this as some sort of an ascending triangle, which was broken yesterday on that little it was pretty weak sell-off, to be quite honest. In all fairness, this is not like groundbreaking moves right over here, but we did break this trend line, and we have since come back up, retested this area, as well as getting a negative bearish cross on the exponentials, even on the lower time frames, and rejection off of it so far. So as long as we're kind of respecting this area right over here, I actually am entered into a position based upon what I'm going to be showing on the higher time frames. But of course, in order to get that, you need to first go down to the lower time frames, and we'll bring it full circle as this video progresses. But right here, right now, we do see lower time frames switching around. We do see 3 hour Stokes headed down. We do see 4 hour Stokes having a fresh cross as of last night, still headed down though. Medium time frames also starting to cross down. We do see 6 hour right over here, and actually 6 hour Stokes have had this nice trend line forming all the way since late March. So looking at this, we are actually still respecting this, and this actually has gotten these nice little peaks along the way throughout this consolidation. Anyways, when we're talking about these very low time frames though, I want to be very very clear when I state this. I don't really trade the lower time frames on Bitcoin anymore. I trade the low time frames on Forex, and then I try to focus on the higher time frames for Bitcoin. But with looking at the lower time frames, we can now start to siphon them into the higher time frames and start to really create a full-on picture. What we essentially spoke about yesterday, and that is what I'm about to show right now. And going over here to the daily, let me actually just adjust this because it's way too big. By the way, I will be making a video on the Jewel later today. I've been completely slacking with this, and I really do apologize about that, but the price of the Jewel will be raised by the end of the month, so I do want to make sure that I get that out beforehand. Anyways, okay, so with the daily right over here, there are major resistances staring us all in the face. They are starting off with this blue 377 exponential right over here on the daily. Very important for long-term trend identification. If we take it up just one more time frame to a 2-day, we see that we have gotten rejected and confirmed a rejection. We obviously spoke about this, about half a week ago, off the purple 200 exponential moving average right over here, long-legged doji dildo, plus continuation on top of that, and actually losing to the 377 exponential on the way, which we did just get a new tick on this last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Or did we? No, we did not. Sorry, that is the 3-day that I'm thinking of, which we're going to get into in just a second. Of course, on the 2-day dildo time frame right over here, we do have 2-day dildo. We do have 2-day dildo Stokes actually they are flirting with each other right now. But more importantly, each and every time that the 2-day Stokes have gone into this range, ever since the high at 20,000 was put in, it has, it has kind of told us about some major massive dumps. Of course, starting off with our highs at 20,000 in December 2017, then over here in February of 2018 at the double top at 12,000, then over here in May at 10,000 in 2018 before moving down to 6,000, then over here at 8,400 in August last year before moving down to 6,000. And once again, we found ourselves in this range. So just historically speaking, it has not boded too well for the bulls when the 2-day Stokes have gone into this range during an actual downtrend, which yes, we are still, in an overall downtrend from the higher time frames. From the lower time frames, nope, they are in an uptrend, no doubt about that. Higher time frames, anything above a weekly essentially is still in a downtrend. Of course, looking at our next time frame, or sorry, actually while we are here on the 2-day digital time frame, we actually did lose the exponential on the RSI, which to me is typically a good sign, a good signal as well. Not only that, but it's in confluence with all these things, right? We got a rejection right over here. We have continuation on top of the rejection, and we got rejected from 2 major exponentials along the way, both very important for the long-term trend. Let's go over here to the 3-day, same sort of thing. Actually, rejection of the purple 200 exponential moving average. We do have 3-day dildo Stokes actually hinting at a cross down, which we did get a new, so we will be getting a new, yes, this is the one that we got a new tick on last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which again, when we've seen the 3-day dildo Stokes cross down in this more critical range for the past year, that has called the same dumps as the 2 days, as you'd imagine, not anything too crazy right over here, but just more importantly, it is suggesting that we could very easily have some downwards momentum. Not only that, but we do see the 3-day jewel right over here actually get extremely high. We've not seen it this high since literally 2017. Not any other time in 2018 did we actually see it get this high. So that is, it certainly is a difference. And while I am talking about these things as, as some sort of bearish momentum beginning, I'm not. Please do not misconstrue this for getting bearish towards new lows, like off this move right here. I actually don't believe that's going to happen from right here. Going over here to the weekly, we do have the blue 89 exponential and the green 55 exponential crossing the downside and also rejecting price action, ending in a nice long-legged doji dildo to close out our last weekly dildo on decent-ish volume. We did come about $40 shy of taking out the low. And realistically, if I were just looking at the weekly, trading could be this simple. When I do see a long-legged doji dildo like this, it is a signal of indecision, perhaps even reversal. How do you confirm a reversal on that? How do you confirm an actual counter trend movement? Well, I want to see us take out the low of this prior doji dildo, which is 49.12. So again, we got about $40 shy of doing that last night. If we even just take out the low of that, I would actually be looking towards the next level, which again, on the weekly, the weekly and the 3-day are quite clear. Next level is around 4,500 to 4,550 from the higher time frame perspective. Of course, on the lower time frames, there's a lot of things to get through on the way. There's going to be trades, there's going to be bounces, there's going to be all sorts of great shit. But I just want to show all the confluences between the higher time frames, suggesting that this region also marked off by the monthly on the yellow 21 exponential and the red 10 moving average, which are crossing to the downside as well, just like we see on the weekly with essentially a bearish cross, a lower period crossing below a higher period, telling us about the overall trend just slowly but surely getting ground to the downside. Remember, we're looking at higher time frames now, so it takes a long fucking time to play out. But all these moving averages also not just important for that, but also important for judging just the overall trend. And right now we are getting rejected on this first path. Now it's taken a while for it to actually populate. We spent about 2 weeks at this range already, but you can sort of see it slowly but surely over time. And this is why I was really apprehensive before to really be taking position. It's fine to talk about, but as a trader, it's not really time to take a position until we actually start to see some legitimate, tangible signals, which we're going to start to get into right now. So with that in mind, obviously, while we are here on the monthly, I always want to say this. I know it's fucking annoying, but the yellow 20 exponential, very, 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 very important for long-term trend identification, and also just that was what I used on the as an equities trader when I was on the floor of New York Stock Exchange Arca to judge if a stock was generally bullish or generally bearish. When we're above it, generally bullish. When we're below it, generally bearish for the longer term. You can see that we lost it about 6 months ago, and this is our first kind of retest on this guy so far. And again, it's not a death sentence to get rejected on your first pass, but it is very likely to get rejected on your first pass. Going down over here, we can actually backtest this. Looking at 2014, 2015, you can see that when Bitcoin lost the 21 exponential, that's what sent it onwards and downwards to its ultimate capitulation death hole right over here. And of course, it was tested, multiple times before it actually broke out to the upside. Tested once over here, twice, thrice, 4 times. What's the fourth? I don't even know what the fourth word is for that. Quattro. That makes no sense. But my point is that we tested it 3 times, getting rejected each and every time, and actually shuffled down to the bottom side of the range each and every time that it was rejected. And then once it actually got above, once it actually closed above right here at $300 price per Bitcoin, well, never even tested it actually after that until getting over to about $20,000. So again, very important, and overall, just kind of want to show all the major resistances in this area, which is why this was a time to be cautious. Now, what happens now? Because there's some very specific things that I'm looking for to kind of judge this next move. And again, I want to be very clear in stating this. I am not suggesting that Bitcoin's about to make new lows from this area right here. That is only a conversation to have if and when. I mean, first and foremost, we'd have to actually break 4,500, which I don't think is happening right now. And then second and foremost, and perhaps and certainly more important, I don't really talk about new lows in trading. Sorry, I don't talk about new lows until we break the 200 exponential moving average right over here at 4,100, and I don't trade for new lows until we actually break this white 200 simple moving average right over here. Then I'm happy to put on a major mass position the second that we break this, looking for, you know, sub 3,000. I mean, well into the 2,000s, you know, and then we can talk about it from there. But for right now, you know, in the more preliminary time frames, there is some very major to be aware of, and this is what I've been covering for the past few days as we have documented this. So I'm going to bring up the MVT signal, and again, the MVT signal is greatly used in confluence with all the other indicators because this is a more fundamental indicator that essentially tells us the network value divided by the daily transaction value. So it's quite unique in what it's telling us right now. And what's even better about it is that it's been perfect in the history of Bitcoin and coin, all of the major tops and all the major bottoms for that matter, in the history of Bitcoin. Anytime that it signals red, top, anytime that it signals green, bottom. You can see that the green signals are significantly, significantly shorter than the topping signals, typically speaking. So that brings me up to my next point. Well, when you get a red signal, how do you time it? How do you time it? Because you can see right over here, it spends, you know, months at a time in the red. It's not very helpful when it's like that. If you hit the red button right when it signals red, you know, you're probably going to get fucking liquidated. I mean, just as an example, right over here at the run to 20,000, you can see that Bitcoin was signaling red right here. Well, that was at a price of about 11,500. So that would have been a career-ending trade. To be quite blunt, it would have been a career-ending trade. Make sure that I'm recording good, making sure that the mic is working, also good. Very proud of myself today. Also proud of myself to show off my diverse shirt collection right now. But overall, you know, when it started signaling red, that would have not been a good trade. It wasn't until these next few things that I'm about to describe right now where it actually did become an actionable trade, a phenomenal trade leading on not just to getting the top, but, you know, basically a 50% down move in the next, like, in less than a week. Anyways, so there are a few major components to what I look for to kind of time this. One of them is staring us right in the face right here. It is this orange moving average on the MVT signal. You can see that when the MVT actually breaks that moving average, that's when the bearish momentum begins, right over here at around $19,000. And then again, this thing comes all the way down to $10,000 literally 3 days afterwards. This was fucking insane, by the way. I know I talk about this all the time, but it was how are people not fucking crying during this time? Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 10,000 in the span of like literally 3 days. That was insane, man. The opportunity during that time was just, you could make a fucking lifetime's worth of money in just a few days. Just insane, man. Just fucking insane. So yes, but that's not it. That in and of itself is not the best way to do it, because we can go over some examples where that did not fully do that. So let's go over and talk about a few more things that are to be used in confluence with this as the gatekeeper. Again, moving average being broken, gatekeeper. Then the next ones that I'm about to postulate are all to be considered about equal, but I want to see them all present. First and foremost, I mean, again, in no particular order, would be the daily Stokes crossing down and then also getting below this critical zone right over here. That timed this move right around here at that 18,500 level. Then we also see we see daily RSI breaking the exponential right over here, beautifully timing this momentum right here at, again, $19,000 price for Bitcoin. And also, well, to be fair, we also did have some bearish divergence on the RSI, very important, but we don't always get that on the major tops, to be fair. So not only that, but we do see the Jewel, very, 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 very powerful. Now, this is an example where the Jewel gave a perfect sell signal. It doesn't always have to do that, but I do want to see the light blue in this range. That has been found to be a key. So those are the four, or what is it like? We have red NVT breaking the trend. What is this? Oh my God, moving average on it. Jewel, RSI, Stokes, and kind of two parts to the Stokes. So about six points of reference all being hit. Once those are all hit, you know, yeah, you might not catch the ultimate top if you're being very patient, but do you need to catch the ultimate top if literally this thing went fucking 50% down? 50% down. What the fuck did I just see? And that's not even all. I mean, it bounced after that, and, you know, that was obviously the high forever, but it's not always going to be like that. Anyways, let's go over to another example and kind of do this out a little bit more. The next time that we actually signaled red on the MVT was right over here on the run to 8,400. You'll probably remember that because we spoke about it in confluence with some of the Stokes and in RSI and Jewel signals that we saw earlier. Anyways, we have Bitcoin signaling red right over here when it was about $7,000, about $7,000. It rallies up another more than $1,000 on top of that. That would have been a terrible position to to just fucking hit the red button right here. You can see that but however, the gatekeeper was what was hit right over here on the 2nd of August. Right in this range. Now, it did not time the ultimate top perfectly, but it did get the nice momentum. And again, do you need to time the ultimate top to get most of this move? Fuck no. Do you need to catch every move and every little piece of every move to make a living in this game? I can tell you, as someone who does this as a living, you don't need to do that. You don't need to. You guys have seen me miss so many fucking trades on like when I'm recording videos. When you see the alerts go off, and sometimes I don't get in. It happens, man. It fucking happens. But again, do you need to be perfect, to make a living off this? No. So take that pressure off yourself, because it's going to be more detrimental to be entering into a position prematurely than post-maturely, if that's the right way of saying it. So we have the gatekeeper being hit right over there. Of course, daily jewel is right over here, hitting into this more critical zone on the light blue. I like that. We actually did get a light sell signal right over here. On the way down as double confirmation. Of course, daily RSI, we did not have divergence here, but we did break the exponential, and we technically did put in a topping formation on the daily RSI. It's a nice little cock and balls or head and shoulders, and yes, you can make that on the RSI. You had a nice neckline right at the bullish control zone as well, if you like the confluences right there. And then on top of that, we did have daily Stokes crossing down right over here on the 28th of July, and then taking out the critical zone right over here. So all those things influence with each other. Well, did we have a 50% down move on this one? No, not quite. About a 25% down move. But again, even getting this a little bit later, if we got it from the ultimate top, it would have been like maybe 30%. So overall, it's one of those things. I'd rather be safe than sorry in this. Now let's go over another one. Bitcoin starts signaling red right over here when it's literally at its fucking lows. Again, career ending move to just short Bitcoin right here at 6,300-ish. Bitcoin rallies up another little bit over $1,000 to this price point right over here. The gatekeeper is hit. The orange moving average is hit right over here. You can see that was one day before this nice little dump dildo party right over here. Then we look at all the other ones to kind of confirm. Looking at the jewel, we hit into the critical zone right over here, instantly rejected and down. Not only that, but we see daily RSI breaking the exponential right over here and down, getting that momentum as well. On the day of dump, that one looks like so a little bit more of a lagging one. And then daily Stokes crossing down right here, tick 1, taking out the critical zone right over here, tick 2. And well, this one also would have been quite rewarding as well. Not as much as the other ones, but you get the point. Now let's go on into the current segment of Bitcoin and look at what we got going on. And do we have the gatekeeper being hit? It was not hit last night. Do we have it hit right now? I would say we... Motherfucker, man. It's crawling out. It's crawling right back up above it right now. Let me actually... So what do we say about this? Has it been hit or not? Well, I would say the day is still quite young, and if the daily does end below, let's call it like 50-50 to be careful, to be a little bit conservative, then this will end below once again. Yesterday we did tick below. Ooh, let me get in this. Let's see. 1 second. Might actually take that one. Let's see. Okay. How about some of that? Let me just make sure that I'm all good on this one. Was waiting for that one for a little bit of time. All right, I think that's cool for a little bit of a scalpy scalp. Okay, cool. So yes, the gatekeeper had been taken out yesterday. Do we have instances of where this kind of, comes back in and out after the trending move happens? No, not really, actually. When I do backtest this, once we lose the moving average on this, the move happens, and we don't test the moving average again until we're actually, putting in at the bottom, essentially. So when I look at this right over here, it is going to be a long day. But I'd imagine that with the advent of yesterday's daily dildo closure, with the advent of us having a bearish engulfing dildo right over here, with the advent of all of the major exponential moving averages and resistances that we have looming overhead at the 52 to 5300 level, with the advent of the daily Stokes pointing down right now and back below the critical zone, with the advent of the daily RSI trending below this exponential for quite some time now, and with the advent of the daily jewel getting into the critical zone right over here and then coming down, that would likely look good to me. Just waiting for that next little piece of information. Now we can go down to the lower time frames now and kind of judge what would be needed to really be a bear lever in this move, if it is going to happen. And I would say, as far as all those go, it does seem like we have all the puzzle pieces in place, barring any sort of like major fake out with this area by end of day. You never know. You never know what's going on. But of course, with yesterday's close, we technically did actually close below. Now we have not necessarily opened and closed one below, so fair enough if you want to be super granular with it. But I would say with all the other puzzle pieces in place, I would be a little bit more careful than not careful. So now let's go down to the lower time frames and kind of judge what I want to see on the lower time frames to be a little bit more of a bear lever in this move. And there we go. Oh, in and out fast. Love it. In that position, very quick scalp. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at on the 12-hour. And we actually, and this is where it kind of comes full circle, because the 12-hour did have a nice golden cross right over here. That was leading us into that. That happened about the day, the day of this major, massive green dildo party, of course, beginning of April, which was very important because not only did we get the golden cross on the 12-hour with the green 55 exponential above the purple 200 exponential moving average, but we had massive follow through, and more importantly, we're above all major moving averages. Until yesterday. Now, my rule is with this is that when you have a golden cross on a higher time frame, and I'd say like the 12-hour minimum pretty much. Oh man, I could have got way more greedy with that one. Holy shit. Oh man, could have been rich. Oh well, whatever. So yeah, when it comes down to it, I'm looking at this, and my rule is that when you're above the 21 exponential moving average and you have the golden cross, I'm not bearish. But what did we do last night? Did we close below the 21 exponential moving average last night? Technically, Coinbase did not. Did Bitstamp? Bitstamp did not. Did BitMexico? BitMexico did, but by 30 cents. So that I wouldn't really say that that's the most important. Did Finex? Yes, it did. So we have bifurcation. We have two exchanges saying yes, two exchanges saying no. So who wins? Well, no one really wins. I really don't like going against the US dollar exchanges, but it does, call me crazy, but it actually does feel like Finex gets these moves more accurately. It actually has been in the past more accurate when it comes to the exponentials and actually breaking these or not breaking these in the more recent past. During 2018 when we had like these massive tether premiums, not so much, but right now it actually has been a little bit more granular, a little bit more accurate to be, after backtesting it for a little bit of time. So if that were to happen, does that mean, if we do see follow through from this, what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for this next 12-hour dildo to close again below the 21 exponential, and I want to see it on all exchanges this time. If we see it on all exchanges, that's going to be my next big signal for myself. Of course, it's not financial advice, but I'm not a financial advisor. Just kind of sharing exactly what I'm doing to put on another bit of my position. So I have started a position right over here on the breakage of 5100, and then I added a little, and then I will add at 5050 essentially if we do actually close below it. So keep that in mind as the day is young and the day is long, and we got 4 hours and 46 minutes and 19 seconds for this to go. If that does happen, where's the next target that I look down towards? Well, I think the next logical target would be right around 4,800. Does that mean that I think that that's the end of the move? Could be. It could be that we bounce off from there and then try higher, which I do think that overall Bitcoin does try higher. But personally speaking, I do think that Bitcoin probably does find support lower. Going over here to the daily, where I'm really looking towards is actually around this white, it's really hard to say, man, this white 200 simple moving average, which is around 4,600. So anywhere between about 45 to, or this is Finex, so Finex is going to be higher, but let's go over here to Bitstamp. Yeah, it's around 4,500. So anywhere between about 45 and 4,550, I would be looking, that's my personal opinion of where that would likely get to if we get this next kind of piece of the puzzle, or key of the, whatever the fuck, man. DJ Khaled, I need your keys right now, baby. Of course, on the daily, keep in mind, we do have support right around 4,800. So I do imagine that if Bitcoin did get down to, it's actually a little bit higher than that, 4,850. If Bitcoin does get down to 4,850, it's extremely likely to bounce there. Extremely likely to bounce there. A lot of bots like algorithms are going to be buying that area just based off the fact that it is the 21 exponential on the daily. Now, what happens after that is going to be very insightful, though. Do we get back above about 5,000, or does 5,000 become a major support, or sorry, major resistance? And it's actually a little bit higher, but we could, you can just kind of eyeball a trend line right here at around about 50-20-ish area. I would look for that area to become resistance, and then Bitcoin to continue down a little bit lower, somewhere down between the 200 simple and 200 exponential in this range. that would be my personal opinion. But of course, as a trader, I'd be taking some off around the 4,800 level on the first pass. Just like yesterday night, it was 49.50 was a buy. Okay, all right. So we spoke about that. Let's also go over the confluences with the other time frames. If we go here to the 3-day digital time frame, we do see the blue 377 exponential coming in right around 45.50. Very important. So if Bitcoin does get down around there, I would be looking for a bounce. If we do look at the weekly, we do have the yellow 21 exponential moving average coming in right around where? Right around 4,500 as well. So again, just more and more things saying, hey, if Bitcoin does get down around there, it's not. I'm just looking to buy a pullback. I don't interpret this move as likely to kind of break onto new lows or anything like that from here. I do think that the lows are questionable. I do, that's a personal opinion, but as a trader, that's just not appropriate to be doing until we, first and foremost, got to break 4,500, and then really that becomes a topic of discussion below the 200 exponential moving average right over here at 41, and then of course time to take trades for myself if we actually break the 200 simple right over here at 35. And I hope that I'm very clear in stating that, because it's very important to separate the low time frames from the medium time frames, from the high and the macro time frames, and also separate my opinion from technical and trading actual acumen, because those are completely different things. When actually taking a trade, you can see that it requires quite a bit of patience right here. I've been looking for this move for the past over 2 weeks now, and it's just starting to finally formulate itself. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Of course, if we did get down to that 4,500-ish target, that's more than a 10% move. Very tradable, very tradable, and something I'd definitely be interested in. So again, just kind of documented this area. Of course, doesn't mean that we can't break that area. We certainly can, but I would imagine on first pass, it probably does bounce pretty damn hard. And I'm not necessarily convinced that this run is over just yet. I'm also not convinced that it's not over. I know that doesn't make too much sense, and it's not too helpful, but I just want to be more agnostic in a range like this when Bitcoin's doing these sorts of things as a trader. So yeah. Alrighty. What else do we want to talk about? We got to talk about, let's talk about the longs and shorts. I forgot to mention this, but the longs and shorts also kind of in, a little bit of a caution area, just like all the other things that we look at. We got about 24 and a quarter short, longs, versus a little under 19,000 open shorts, with 2,500 of these guys hedged. So 16,000 open naked versus 24 and a quarter long, which does offer up a nice imbalance between the two, which has borne some major massive moves for the past year. Of course, just another kind of piece of the puzzle, if you want to call it that, is the fact that the Bitcoin shorts on Finex are back in this blue box territory, which has been all of the major massive dumps for the past year that we have seen. All of them except for the last couple times that we actually got into this area. So fair enough. It hasn't been perfect, is what I want to show it. There is an air of ambiguity here, to be very clear. But everything before February, this was the danger zone, marking all of those same dumps that we looked at on the other higher time frames. I'm just looking at the screen, and man, could have doubled that position quite easily. Oh well. Alrighty. What else do we want to talk about? All right, so let's get back on it. Let's go check out CMEs. I want to check out what CMEs are doing. CMEs are actually quite interesting to me as well, because look at this. I do believe that CME chart is just so much easier to read. So much easier to read. And there's been a lot of hoopla about this recently, because someone started looking at like a weekend list chart of Bitcoin. This is why I look at CMEs, because they don't include the weekends, because it doesn't fucking trade on the weekends. And now CME does actually some decent volume. I mean, it's quite formidable. So it does matter. And this, it's trading on a legitimate US exchange. I mean, the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, that was right across the street from Chicago Board Options Exchange, which is where I traded above as an options exchange, which also you might remember was having Bitcoin futures before delisting them. CBOE is not a futures exchange; it's an options exchange. It's in the fucking name. The CME would make a lot more sense, as it's commodities, mercs. Anyways, you do see on this very clear rejection of the 200 exponential on the daily. Then we lost the 200 simple right over here, also breaking this trend line. That was a big signal. That was a big fucking signal. We came back yesterday, retested the 200 simple right over here, lost the 10 simple on the way. Now we're using it as resistance. And as far as CMEs look, I mean, where would my target be based off of CMEs? Actually lower, 47. Actually, a little bit more like that. Stokes on CMEs coming down after hitting the top of our resistance trend line. Again, we've been watching this for a long time, man, long fucking time. What I really want to see is this trend line, this rising support trend line break. That would be my next big signal for that one. Looking at our RSI, major bearish divergence between this point and this point. Absolutely heinous. Trending below the exponential as well. Not good. We also got a little, not a super strong sell signal on the daily jewel, but decent enough. And yeah, if I'm looking at this, support down around 47. Looking at the weekly closed last week as, what do you want to call this? Do you want to call it a doge dildo? Do you want to call it a shooting star dildo? Do you want to call it a grave dome dildo? I don't care what you call it. All I care about is the implication of it. And if we take out the low of this at 4,900, next target from this perspective is going to be the weekly 21, which is at 45. So again, good confluences between this. Good confluences. Also, and this is just kind of a trick of the mind, but we technically haven't seen the RSI ever this high on CMEs. It doesn't mean anything, though, on the weekly, because we just haven't have that much history. It doesn't mean anything. I shouldn't even mention it. Let's go check out GBDC. How's GBDC doing? Major, wow, GBDC, look at this. So is GBDC trading ahead of the other exchanges? I really go back and forth with this, because they're so out of fucking sync now, or maybe it's that GBDC is so much further in the future. I really don't know this. Because last week it looked like they had completely decoupled. Then GBDC just took a fucking massive leap ahead, testing into this range in one day after spot price has already gone there. But now GBDC is breaking down before. I mean, this is a shooting star dildo. This is a rejection on heavy volume of major exponentials as they diverge away from each other on a bearish cross. Very fucking important. Not only that, but we have continuation off that signal as well. Look at this. Oh my God. Wow. Fucking brutal move on that pound versus yen. My God. Okay, now I'm glad I got out. Jesus. So, we do have continuation off this. Not only that, but we see weekly Stokes crossing the downside. On top of that, where's the next support? Down around here, right around the weekly 21, which would likely be around that 450-ish area. We also do see some hidden bearish divergence between this point and, well, just about any point in the past. But it's present, if you want to call it that. And I do believe that I missed this on CMEs as well. There's probably weekly Stokes. Nope, they're actually getting up there still. Whereas the one that I was looking on weekly Stokes, no, I guess it's not Bitcoin. It's Mrs. Litecoin that I was thinking about. So yeah, we do see good confluences between that, and it is quite relevant right now. So again, just things to consider. Let's go look at the top shitcoins right now. Let's go look at Mr. Buteral and Mrs. Litecoin. Starting off with Mr. Buteral right here, and Mr. Buteral, we have taken out last week's low. We have taken out last week's low by a good $4. And not only that, but this, this could be considered a spinning top dildo. Yes, we did hold above the yellow 20 exponential moving average, but looking a little bit weaker. We do have, this is now hidden bearish divergence confirmed between this point and this point. RSI getting higher while price action making lower highs. And yes, we have taken out the low. So yes, this is considered a local high right now. More preliminary support on Mr. Buteral would be 147. Daily on Mr. Buteral cleanly broke the 21 exponential, and yeah, I'd say daily support right around 151. 151 would be my daily support. So in that range between about 147 and 150. 147 and 151. Yeah, kind of a large range. Trending below the exponential. Daily Stokes down. They've been down for a while, but more importantly, daily Stokes broke this trend line confirmed yesterday. So again, just another thing to kind of be aware of. Also breaking the 21. I would like to see some continuation on top of this. We could pop back, in the lower time frames, we can pop back up and test 165.5. Yeah, that's completely fine. But as long as we're kind of below this 165.5 to 167-ish area, I'm gonna say it. This is a Head and Shoulders. There's a Head and Shoulders reversal pattern right here. Let's kind of measure this one out. The only problem is that it's too fucking obvious, but look at that. The measure move would be pointing down towards this rising trend line, the trend line that was born all the way from our current low in middle of December at $85, getting all of our lows so far, and that would be perfectly testing it and also line up with the 200 simple on the 12-hour dildo time frame. So worth consideration. Again, I do think that there are significant supports higher than that. I think that would be a little bit more of an aggressive move, but it is worth calling out that does look like a Head and Shoulders. I mean, the volume signature is right, the shape is right, and the neckline is very well defined. The neckline, I'd say, is right around if you want to be very conservative, I'd say 159.5. So it hasn't necessarily broken just yet. And like I said, there are supports higher than that full-on measured move. So I don't think I'd get like full-on gung-ho about it. But you know, do keep that in the back of your mind. Let's go check out Mrs. Litecoin. How's she doing? How's this beautiful bitch doing? Sorry, beautiful lady who deserves a lot of respect. Daily Stokes still down. Daily Stokes also broke this trend line. I think confirmed 2 days ago. So I missed talking about that yesterday, but you know, same deal. Bearish engulfing dildo, I believe, yesterday. Yeah, bearish engulfing dildo closed yesterday. We did close above the 21 exponential, to be fair, but look at this daily jewel given a perfect sell signal right over here. Now to be fair, that was at a price point of like $93, so we've already seen a fucking 20% move off that. It's kind of asking for a lot right now. But we also did break this rising trend line on the daily jewel. Look at that, coming all the way back from our current from November lows, all the way right over here. Right over here. So again, you know, if this thing does break down, I would be looking for a target somewhere down around $68 to $69. Great number as well. Looking at the weekly. Do we have continuation off the weekly? We do. Yeah, weekly support, $69, Mrs. Litecoin. But I always do want to say this. For Mrs. Litecoin, I'm not bearish on Mrs. Litecoin thinking that she's going to make new lows. I do believe that the lows in for Mrs. Litecoin, this is what I want to see on a major market cycle low, increasing volume to the upside, and just a basically straight up fucking... I mean, this one's, what? This one's 4x from the lows. Yeah, from about $22 to $100. Sorry, it's 5x. That doesn't make sense. $22 to $100. Yeah, almost 4 or 5x in the middle there. 4.5x, if you want to call it that. Oh man, I could have taken another trade off that one. Oh well. Oh well. I got to get my alerts back on. Let me actually put an alert in right now, just in case if I actually do get hit on this next trade. That would be nice. That would be quite a nice one too. All right, just a little bit down around there. Okay, good to go. Alrighty. Okay, cool. So got Mrs. Litecoin. Yeah, again, you know, if we go down to super low time frames, does look like it wants to kind of rally back up to $80 perhaps first. We did put in a nice, a nice bullish dildo right over here. Probably does get a little bit of continuation, and I'd be looking at resistance right around a little bit above $80. Now we can get into all the top shitcoins. But again, I always want to say this with the caveat that, hey, when talking about the top shitcoins, it's always going to be more appropriate to be looking at the top major caps, you know, the top three, the big three, as they call them, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Mr. Buteral, because they are just a little bit easier to read, and these guys typically follow. We do see Cardano starting to really initiate the breakdown. We did see this beginning yesterday. We did start to call, yes, this is likely to kind of come back down. I would be looking at a target somewhere right around 1500. I was I forget who to give credit to, but someone told me that Cardano has some sort of like a meeting or conference or whatever the fuck it might be, either this week or next week. And this is also a good, you know, a good fundamental, not a fundamental reason, but a good, you know, a good event reason as well, because a lot of the time these events are just buy the rumor, sell the news. Unless there's some major massive announcement at the event saying like Cardano is going to be used to cure cancer now, it's probably not, you know, it's typically just a hype up event for the market movers, because they know that the uneducated retail masses are going to buy this up thinking, oh my God, conference, that means we go up. That means they're going to announce and we're going to go to the moon. I'm going to get rich and it's easy. It's like, yeah, no, the major market movers know that. The people with severely deep pockets know that, and that's why they can create the illusion of bullish momentum and then dump it on all of the unsuspecting retailers as, you know, as the event gets close, because they know that they have buyers now. They have buyers for the less educated people, thinking that, you know, some major's going to change, which maybe it does, but the way this chart looks like right now, it looks like it wants to come down. Losing the 21 exponential yesterday, I'd say your next major support's actually down around here, 1500-ish area. Daily Stokes still down, tried to cross up yesterday. Daily RSI making its way into the neutral zone. I mean, it has been away from the exponential for quite some time. Jewel typically does bounce in this area as well, but does look droopy on the daily. Weekly, has the weekly gotten any continuation? No. Weekly support is much lower though, to be fair. Weekly Stokes getting a little bit weaker. Not crossing down just yet, so not a signal. BNB count, BNB just strong as ever. This thing is just fucking, this is juggernaut count. Yeah, the thing is that the daily jewel will line up for another perfect sell signal in the next, maybe later this week, just kind of like we got over here. Remember, it took a long time for it to really happen, but that got the move from about $19.50 down to $16. So it, you know, it certainly is worth having some patience. And the problem with BNB count is that This thing has just been so it's in a league of its own right now. The weekly closed very strong last week. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if this one has some more continuation. If anything's gonna have more continuation, it's this one most likely. Rallying off that $16 support. You know, as long as that area is defended, this thing is, you know, majorly bullish. I think the pullback was last week. I think that was likely it. Again, kind of does its own thing, so fair enough. Let's see, what do we got on over here on Zcash? Zcash, looking a little bit weaker as well. Daily Stokes down, daily RSI way below the exponential. I mean, this one could bounce back up all the way to $69, $70 and not really, you know, change anything. That's the problem with it. 12-hour. Yeah, 12 hours a little bit variable as well. You know, here's what I'd say about Zcash. As long as you're below $69.50, I'd be bearish on it. Looking for a move down to about $63. But if this thing does regain $69.50, I would be looking for a move back up to $75. That's kind of how I judge that one. Bcash, the non-delisted one. By the way, shout out to ZZ, man. That's actually pretty damn cool that he did that. I'm guessing that this one's probably getting a boost just because of that fact that, you know, its brother, it's split cone. The SV version is, you know, not going to be having a good time, I would imagine. And we actually did see a nice move, nice up move yesterday, which, you know, should have support right around the $300 range. Not actually be kind of on the opposite side. I'd say that this one might want to. This one looks a little bit more bullish to me. As long as we maintain $300, I kind of like it. I kind of like it for a move perhaps to 415. To be fair. Again, I know that people hate it when I call it Bcash, but it's just easier to say, man. It's not because I like hate it or anything like that. I don't have an opinion. It's fucking irrelevant, man. It's fucking irrelevant. I don't think that we're gonna be using Bcash to like do daily purchases anytime soon. If that's what people are getting towards though. Tron Cash coming down. Look at this. We closed a nice bearish engulfing dildo yesterday. Below the 21 exponential, and yes, we are getting damn close to having a golden cross right here. But keep this in mind that a lot of the time, what you'll see is, again, major market movers know that everyone's looking for the golden cross, right? The green 55 and the purple 200, which are hinting at each other. But usually, what'll happen is that a lot of the retailers, a lot of the uneducated people will just buy into that, saying, "Oh my God, it's gonna happen! It's going to the fucking moon! I just saw Litecoin! It's gonna happen! It's gonna happen to Tron!" Well, maybe it does, but a lot of the time is that before the cross is actually fully confirmed, you'll see a dump come in right at the end and just catch all those people. And here's the thing. Tron's at a very critical point. If Tron breaks 2.5 cents, the next target I have, I mean, yes, there would be support right here at 4.5 cents. Yeah, I've got it. It's not going to fucking stop there, though. It's going to come down to 2.2 cents if that were to happen. By the same token, if Tron can be resilient today, if Tron doesn't break the 2.5 cent region, then you get to play out a golden cross, and this thing's gonna, you know, yeah, we can talk about targets at 3.2 cents, but realistically, this thing's gonna rally to like 4 cents, and quick too. But hey, it's at a major decision point right now. If you're a fan of Tron, do not want to see this 2.5 cent region break. If that breaks, big fucking problems, because this would no longer be a bottoming formation, but a continuation formation. Neocash coming down to its supports, holding up above the 200 simple. Don't have a strong opinion on this one. I actually do think that it probably bounces up in the more immediate time frames to about maybe even $11 or such. Not too crazy of a call though. What about the weekly? Yeah, did the weekly close below the 21? It did not, but we do have continuations. Weekly support down around 990. EOS, what's EOS looking like? If EOS does print below $5.09, I would be looking for a move back down to about 460-ish area. But for right now, I'd give it the benefit of the doubt, actually. In more immediate time frames, this thing wants to come back down to about $5.08. But that's going to be a problem because it would take out this low right over here. Then I'll be a little bit more bearish on it. Yeah, this one's really difficult, man. I do think that lower time frames do want to pop back down here. I'd still be going off the daily 21. Hey, if you break the daily 21 exponential, yes, and you're coming back down to 460. I think I feel more confident saying that. Gonna follow the rest of the market though, as all these things likely are. Ripple Cash, Ripple Minipos Cash looking weaker and weaker by the day, man. Weaker by the day. We spoke about this the other day that, you know, it's very interesting to see the alts kind of signal weakness first, kind of led by Ripple. Ripple and Mr. Beaterall actually. You know, if this thing pops back up to, 32.5 cents, it's probably a sell to me. I do think that this one has more continuation to the downside to go. Yes, we are on weekly support right now, but this is not strong. This is not strong at all. And realistically, I mean, the next, if and when this area does break at around 30 cents, next target is going to be 24 to 25 cents. It's not going to be good. Monero Cash. Monero Cash, did we take out yesterday, or did we take out last week's low? We did not. We did not. So Monero actually looking a little bit on the stronger side. I'd give Monero the benefit of the doubt as long as you're closing the daily above the 21 exponential. Yeah, I'd say another run towards 66 in a quarter, most likely. But again, gonna go with the rest of the market, man. If the rest of the market sells off, this thing's gonna come back down to 59. Basically, the breakout, is it 59 or is it 59, 57-ish area? Stellar Cash. What's Stellar Cash doing? Yeah, kind of following Mr. Ripple's nipples. If it pops back up to 11.5 cents, that'd probably be a sell for me. Weekly support down here at around 10 cents. Again, going to follow the rest of the market, giving up the 21 exponential just as easy as it got above. It's not a sign of strength, man. SPY. What are we looking at on traditional markets? Oh my God, this thing just does not stop. Pullbacks are illegal. Weekly looks strong. Here's the thing. Here's what I can say about SPY. I'm not looking to buy right here, but I would be looking to buy a pullback. It's going to take some patience though, because we literally have not gotten a pullback in weeks. Does that make it more likely to get a pullback now? It does. We do have daily Stokes crossing to the downside. We do have weekly Stokes still going up. Man, this one's strong as fuck. Again, when I see something like this, yeah, we are approaching prior resistance from the prior highs in this blue box territory. We kind of took a stab into it yesterday and the day before. What do you say about something like this? What does it come down to? Realistically, what this one comes down to is, again, I'm not looking to buy. I am bullish on this thing, but I am looking to buy a pullback. I'm not looking to buy right here. Ideally, I'd be waiting for a pullback to 282.5, 283 from a higher time perspective. But look at this, man. The monthly is good. I mean, this is powerful. Monthly is bullish. Monthly Stokes crossing up to the upside. This area on the monthly has not been violated since 2009. I mean, remember what was 2009? That was a 2008 crash right over here. I heard someone the other day say that 2008, 2009 did not have a capitulation event. This is fucking capitulation. Holy shit. Like, wow. Down 50%. That's capitulation. Looking at traditional markets, that's fucking capitulation. Jesus Christ, man. That is insane. How anyone could ever say that. I mean, we just have significant different opinions on something like that. SPY, again, yes, it is getting towards resistance, but, yeah, hard one. I don't have anything else to say on this one except I'd be waiting for a pullback. Does the pullback happen sooner rather than later? I think so. We did not make a new high yesterday. It's looking to me like it's kind of putting in time. It's going to take some time to play out. But yeah, I do think that the next move is going to be a pullback, and that's to be bought, to be clear. So yeah, I think I just spoke about everything that I want to speak about. My God, my life is complete. Yay. Let's go back on over to Mr. Bitcoin. Let's talk about the lower time, or kind of just talk about this action that we got going on right over here. If I really wanted to synthesize what I'm going to say down to a very easy to interpret soundbite, it would be this: lower time frames, popping back up to test this resistance. I'm holding positions as long as we're below 5,100. If I wanted to be a little bit more cavalier, I would use 5,130 to manage off of, but I don't really see the need to do that. I'd rather reposition around 5,130. Now, overall, I would run with the assumption that we will see all of the keys get turned if Bitcoin does close the daily below 50.50. Right now, we're about $15 or $14 above that on BitMEXCO. $13.50 now, above that on BitMEXCO. So it's a long day to go. $15 is obviously nothing. $13.50 even less. So that means absolutely nothing. I think the next big key is probably going to be decided off of the 12-hour. Do we close the 12-hour below the 21 exponential at 50.20 on, or sorry, 50.29, 50.30 on GDAX? Then yes, I do believe that we're going to see this moment take us not just down to 4,900, but also hit our first target around the daily 21, which is going to be actually 48.50. Actually about 4,800, 48, 49, right in this range right over here. I'll put in a, this is not the area that I want to be buying though. Most likely, I mean, most likely. I would be looking for a bounce in this area, and then overall, that would give me conviction on the higher time frames that we're going to see all of the higher time frame stuff play out, which remember takes a long time to play out. My full on target would likely be 4,500-ish area to 4,550. So yeah, this is not going to happen just overnight, but so we'll have time to discuss it, over time. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I'll be back on later with some more live stream action. Another fun little day of streaming activities and chatting it up. Again, thank you for joining in. And oh my God, I want to say massive thank you for bringing this community above 15,000 subscribers last night. That was amazing. And I know I always say this, man, but it's the coolest thing about this community is that we just have such a diverse community of people from all different walks of life. So we have experts, like actually some very prominent people in areas that I should not mention within this community, and we all just work together, and we come together for something better. We come together from something better, which is what a community is all about. Because when it comes down to it, I've spent my life's energy learning technical analysis, which means that I'm going to be very deficient in other areas of my life. So someone might be a fucking phenomenal graphics artist, or they might know something about, they might know some news about this, or they might be involved in this project, which gives them expertise in that area, which, again, just rounds out it even better. So as this community grows, what I've noticed is that the level of thought actually gets better, which is what I'm so fucking proud of, because I see in so many other communities where it's just like, it's when it gets on the bigger side, the level of discussion and content really devolves down into like moon, doom, moon. It's like, shut the fuck up. And that's what I always feared. And that's why I almost didn't even want this place to get, even bigger than like 1,000 subscribers. And it is just a pleasure that this place seemed to attract the right type of person, which I'm much more happy about than just any sort of number. But again, massive thank you for that, and I'm just so fucking happy to be here with you right now. So again, I'm gonna leave you on that note. A nice little positive message of the day. Be back on the way with some more live stream action. Again, keep those levels in mind. That's kind of what I'm doing. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just kind of sharing what I'm doing in these sort of same situations. So with that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.